Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendo Live here. And today, it's, well, not today, actually, because of the way that the schedule is. Lives went out yesterday. But today, the Splatoon 2 is 5 years old and 1 day. 5 blinking years old. We've got Splatoon 3 just around the corner. And to explain why, it's fine to have a third game now, to have a sequel come out, I'm joined by the venerable, the wonderful Mr. Felix.
Hello, it's Mr. Felix.
I have no idea what that was, but...
It was an Inkling impression. Come on,
Oh, that's pretty cool. Now that I know, I can appreciate it. But not only, but also, we're not joined by Xeon. No, he's sleeping in today. We're joined, special guest, Mr. Paul.
Hi, I'm not Xeon.
Yeah, that's how you know it's not Xeon, all right. Yes, Paul's a longtime friend of the channel, and he knows more about Splatoon than even Mr. Admiral Splatoon. So we thought it was appropriate to have him on. How are you?
I'm good. We've survived the heat wave, so we're not all, dried up calamari.
It was very hot in the UK recently, but something that we've seen time and time again is people saying, oh, why are they doing another Splatoon already? Splatoon 2 only released like 4 minutes ago or something. And we came to the realization that it's 5 years old. 5 years, which I don't know about any of you, but that seems like a blinking long time to me.
I can't believe it's 5 years since this game came out. I remember it as yesterday when I first got the game and started splatting around. That sounded better in my head.
Yeah, it's crazy, but I understand why people are always saying things like, oh, but is it too soon for a sequel? Like people aren't absolutely gagging for Breath of the Wild 2 and wish it came out several years prior. But these sort of things, these sort of sequels with these online-focused games, generally they happen a lot more frequently than this. Call of Duty is the classic example. There's a new game every single year. Even nowadays, Pokemon is getting a new game every year. So I don't think it's too soon.
I mean, Splatoon only has the mainline Splatoon game, where Pokemon has a lot of remakes and stuff. So
that's true.
But still, they still want to pump out something every year. Whereas Splatoon has been focused on updating the game for a long time, and now it's just it just feels right that a third one comes out. And we totally know that they might seem a bit similar, and from a casual standpoint it might seem very similar graphical wise and stuff, but I sat down today and just watched a side-by-side comparison, and the third one just looks so much better. Oh, it looks so good. The animation, the new animations, the new character models, the new weapon models. It just looks like they're refining their craft, the animations, everything just looks like it's going to be just a tad bit better. And what I hope is that the single-player content is just going to be, they've already been teasing this, but we don't know a lot for the Splatoon 3 single-player. And I think if that's good, that could be so nice.
Yeah, they're definitely being a lot more cagey with the single-player stuff. I know the initial trailer was almost, well, not exclusively single player, but had a big single player focus, but they were just teasing us. We don't have anything concrete. But when it comes to these online games, the major changes really are in the details, and that's something that, Paul, I think you're going to be more familiar than any of us, considering you play the game, I think. What is it, 80, 90 days a week?
Probably more than that. We literally bend the time-space continuum to, get enough hours to play Squid Game. And then Squid Game 2, the sequel, and now Squid Game the third. So, one of the things that I'm really interested in is how they're approaching the initial weapons. So they've announced that all base weapons from previous games are going to be available from launch.
Yeah.
I presume that doesn't mean they're all going to be available, straight away within the game. It's going to be a case of unlocking them as you progress through the levels. But I think they've explicitly said that it's just the base versions. So what you see is what you get. There's not going to be, at least at outset, a deco version of, this weapon, or, a Kensa version of another one. We're going to have to wait for those to be released. which is kind of how it was done before, but you still had these variations within the base game. So you could still opt for different versions of the kit, and whereas now anyone that's new to the game, you're going to learn, right, this is how this weapon works. That whole meta is going to be based around these initial weapons. Everything's going to be associated, like all the new specials are going to be associated with specific setups, and it's just going to be really interesting, really fresh. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to that.
Because the second one, there was a couple of weapons from the first game that wasn't available at launch, so it's really good to hear that the weapons are just going to be there. I mean, the base versions, at least, at launch, so new players can get a feel for all these weapons, and then other versions can come down the line, and, then players already know what the weapons does. At least for the new players, veterans, of course, they already know what they do. Duh.
Do you think that there's a possibility, Paul, that there's going to be a little bit of... I don't want to say boredom or disappointment, but it's sort of a bit of frustration from the more hardcore community when it comes to the fact that they are, they're just including the base ones, as you say. I mean, it may well be that there are variants as well, but they're saying, that, yep, the base ones are definitely in there. Do you think, stripping back the meta in that sense is going to frustrate some people?
Well, yes and no, because obviously the meta is going to be completely different, because we've got all these new specials, we've got new sub-weapons coming in, and, new maps, new mechanics. So the early days are going to be quite different in terms of how it all plays out. After that initial period of everyone experimenting and figuring out what works for them, what weapons are effectively broken, because there's going to be something that's overpowered in that initial lineup.
Do you remember, in the original test fire, when everyone was saying the splat roller's completely broken, and then the game came out and within a week it was it needed to be buffed because everyone could just work around it?
Yeah, the second everyone figured out how to walk backwards while shooting.
Crazy times.
And we've got the stringers coming in. No one really knows how those are going to play out.
They just look cool as heck, man.
Oh, they do.
They do. I think we're going to see variants on that theme as well. There's always different types of these new weapons that are introduced, and they're not. Previously it would have been alternate versions of the same weapon, but I would imagine we've only seen, I think, the tri-stringer. I don't think we've seen a single shot bow weapon or anything like that yet, but I think that's inevitable.
It makes sense. It's an easy weapon design choice, isn't it?
Yeah, and you've already got the precedent with the tri-slosher, which now is a square bucket, which is just mind-blowing. I don't know how to feel about that.
How are they going to do that?
You've gone from a circle to a square.
What's next? Triangle?
Cross? It's PlayStation. Splatoon is PlayStation.
Oh no. What is a feature in Splatoon 3 that you really wish something they improve on from 2? That maybe they haven't announced yet, but you hope okay, this could be cool if they improved on this aspect.
How you can join your friends. Even in just Turf War.
Yeah.
Because in Splatoon 2, it's fine. You go see people on your friend list and you can click on them to join them. But there's no guarantee that you're going to be joining the match they're in anytime soon. If that lobby is full, that's it. You're waiting for someone to drop out or, God forbid, disconnect. And, that is going to be very problematic, especially in the early days when it's going to be really, really busy. People are not going to want to leave the lobbies. They'll be playing as much as they can.
You don't even play on the same team. That's not even guaranteed. It's basically random who you join off the 8 players in the lobby.
I think that's a balancing thing, and I understand why they've done it, but I would like the ability to actually just join a team with your friends. If they could find a way to balance that out, that would be great. Because, every other game does that. I think it is just because it's just balancing. They want to make sure that everyone's happy, everyone's having a grand old time, and that's one way to stop things like griefing. But I'd like to see them incorporate it.
I mean, a simple thing that they could do is just employ a similar thing to how League works now, but for Turf War. Just join up with your friends and go in as a squad for turf.
And it's only going to match you up against other people in a squad rather than people going in teams of 1 or 2. You get, if you go in as a team of 3 or 4, it's only going to match you up with another team of 3 or 4. And then a fourth person, if you're in a team of 3, someone from the internet, maybe.
No way.
Yeah, just fill the lobby in the same way that it works in Splatoon 2 with Salmon Run.
Yeah,
If you
that would
haven't
work.
got a full squad, just have freelancers.
I am curious to see what they're going to do with Salmon Run as well. I mean, I know Salmon Run was a brand new thing. I'm kind of really hoping that they come up with something else brand new, because Salmon Run was a revolution for Splatoon 2. I want to see them do something new in Splatoon 3, like another mode. I've no idea what it could be. Could be anything. Maybe co-op single player or something like that would be really cool. We've no idea what the
run.
Sorry?
Sea base run.
Sea base?
Yeah.
Do you mean
It's the
sea
fish
bass?
from Animal. Frick.
I do think in some ways Nintendo is, I don't want to say shooting themselves in the foot, but they're only drip feeding information at the moment, which I get, it keeps up the allure and stuff like that.
And Xenoblade is right around the corner, and you don't want to take away from other big games coming out. They're probably going to go much more into the marketing after.
But my point is that they could have revealed more information about the game when they initially revealed it, or subsequently. I'm not saying they have to do it now, but I do think that some more information would be good, because I understand why some people are saying, oh, it just looks like Splatoon 2 on a sort of on a broad scale, and is it really worth having a sequel if it's going to be so similar? I imagine that there's a lot that we haven't seen, the single player for one thing, because it looks to be much more open rather than the just, sort of the stage-based system that we had before. But I think maybe they could have done more to differentiate it. I don't know. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
I've definitely seen plenty of discussion saying that what we've seen before is more of the same. Specifically, when we got I say recent, it's been quite a while now, but the trailer for the return of Salmon Run, I've seen people say, oh, I thought we would get something new. It's like, we might get something new. If we don't, that's going to be problematic to selling the game to those people, because then it's very difficult to justify why there is a sequel when if it is more of just variations on the same theme, and it could in theory have just been a large update. Although we've got no idea what's going on behind the scenes, in terms of like how it's programmed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I imagine it's a lot more complicated than just an update.
I mean, they probably tweaked the movement a lot of the characters and what all the
they already
different-
haven't they? I noticed that the movement options whilst in squid form just appear to be a bit smoother, a bit more snappy and responsive.
And also, when walking, it seems like less floaty in a sense. And I don't know. I really like the look of it.
It may well be. I don't know, and I'd be interested to know if Paul, whether the original, the Splatoon 2 was based on the same framework as Splatoon 1, which I'm well aware was made in the same engine as Mario Maker, which is kind of bizarre. Or was it the other way round? But either way, there was, it'd be interesting to know if they are doing things from scratch this time.
I will freely admit that I don't know for certain, but just the fact that Splatoon 2 came out 2 years after Splatoon 1 suggests that, to me, they used Splatoon 1 as a base and just sharpened the graphics for the Switch.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was a lot of things mechanically that were a bit better, but fundamentally, there's not that much that's different in terms of how everything works.
Well,
whereas in Splatoon 3,
there is one major fundamental difference between the two, and that's the lack of squid jump.
Really?
Well, very true. That's Squid Jump, the amazing game, not Squid Jump, the move.
Yeah, no, that's Super Jump, isn't it?
Well, yes and no. Yes, in that you're right, and no, that I'm completely wrong, and that you've exposed me as a complete and utter fraud.
He knows the damage of the 96 gal. you know, the DPS for every weapon, but he doesn't know the name of the big jump move.
El grande salto.
I just know it as the thing I do before I hit a splashdown on unsuspecting victims.
One thing I do hope they improve on is, like, when you enter the game, I just want to be able to skip the cutscenes.
Yeah, I think a little bit of refinement on that front, especially regarding, I mean, it's not so bad anymore because you get, you know, just sort of saying, hey, multiplayer maps have changed, and you'd be booted out. I just prefer them to just come up with a notification saying, multiplayer maps have changed, but keep you in the damn lobby.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my
yeah,
God.
let us know the multiplayer maps have changed, but don't kick us out, for goodness sake.
I just feel the intro cutscene is a bit like Isabelle in Animal Crossing. Like, it's just let me skip it.
That's a good comparison, yeah.
Yeah, it's fine for the people who want to watch it, but I don't want to watch it every time I boot up the game. Just let me have, like, hold plus to skip or something. That would just be nice.
If you've played for more than 10 hours, they just turn up and say, there's no news today, and let you play.
Well, that hasn't happened yet. We'll see in Splatoon 3.
I think you could easily find a nice middle ground where it's, you know, sort of they announce the stages and the, you know, and the in the different game modes and stuff like that, but without it being so long.
Yeah, it is really long.
I mean, it is damn cool, don't get me wrong, and it's entertaining the first, like, 5 times you see it, but if you play Splatoon a lot, you see it a lot, so...
It's like watching Atari bowling in real time.
That's exactly what it's like.
And you've just sold Splatoon 3 to Xeon.
Absolutely. I think they could do something fun, something in universe and everything that makes sense without it being so damn long. Just, you know, have it, you know, sort of, and, you know, sort of, in ranked, we've got bang, bang, and in this, we've got bang, bang, you know, just something snappy that takes, like, I would say, like, maybe 10 or 15 seconds tops, ideally less. I think that would be good. I think people would be happier with that, but the fact that it's a solid 30, 40 seconds or whatever it is, it's too long.
Yes, Splatoon 2 came out 5 years ago, and some people might say, well, you know, any other studio could maybe, like, make a new game, like a sequel, and it wouldn't have put in so much care to it, but the, like, team behind Splatoon just put so much care into their game, so I'm really not worried about this game being all too similar to the second one. I think, you know...
I appreciate the point, but that did come out of nowhere.
I was trying to tie back into, like, the main point of the video.
We have somewhat veered off course, haven't we?
Yeah, we have.
But no, I agree. You know, there's always been so much care and attention put into both of these Splatoon games that, yeah, I don't have any doubts that, you know, it's gonna be worth the upgrade. I mean, people said that about Splatoon 2 when it came out. And it was like, oh, but we've only just had Splatoon 1. And it's like, yeah, but the Switch is clearly going to be better. And it was better than the Wii U. And despite them saying Splatoon couldn't happen on a normal console, and then they did Splatoon 2 and it's on a normal console. But I think I've got full confidence that it's going to be worthwhile.
I completely trust Nagami-san and his team. I mean, you look at the output they've had over... the past 10 years, give or take, and it's not just Splatoon and Splatoon 2, but we've also had Animal Crossing New Horizons, we've had the Welcome Amiibo update for Animal Crossing New Leaf.
Was that Nogami as well?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why they put Splatoon stuff in that.
I just thought it was, you know, hey, it's the hip new thing.
He's our boy.
I've met him.
Yeah?
So have I. Everyone's met Nagami.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
I made him eat haggis.
I made him sign my copy of Yoshi's Island. He was
Why?
He was an artist on Yoshi's Island.
Sorry. I thought you'd just gone mad. What's the least Nagami thing I could make him sign?
I think I'm the only person in the world with a copy of Yoshi's Island that has a drawing of Yoshi, a squid, and an octoling from Nagami himself. Why isn't September 9th here now?
It'll come sooner than you think, I'm sure. It's going to come sooner than I think, I'm certain.
And we also have like Xenoblade 3 to plow through before Splatoon comes out, so we'll be busy.
It's going to be a grand old time. But there you have it. That was a slightly derailed conversation, as quite often happens on this channel. Yeah, long and short of it is, whilst it does look very similar, mate, it's a sequel. Of course, it's going to be similar in a lot of regards. We're just going to have to wait and see how different it's going to be. But we have full confidence that it's going to be more than a good. It's going to be, yes, it's a good. But thank you so much for watching. And thank you, Paul, for coming along and being our special guest today. Yeah, it's been great. If you like this video, then why don't you bring that subscribe button on as a special guest, and be sure to check out NintendoLife.com for all sorts of lovely Nintendo-related content. Thank you again for watching. Bye-bye.
I'm still not Xeon.